Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the episode of the Plant Co podcast. I'm Max, and today I'm in Germany, capital Berlin. Never thought I'd be here with animal rights activist Marcus, or more commonly known as Recovering Carnist.
What's going on, man?
It's good to have you. I'm excited. Been
Super
looking forward to this for a while.
Big time, man.
So there's so many questions I want to ask you, but I kind of have to go back to the origins, back to the Avengers, back to the beginning of Iron Man and everyone else. Why did you go vegan?
First, I moved to Berlin about 2 years ago, and when I first arrived here, I was kind of just like in a very party mindset, going out, drinking lots, eating like crap, not really caring about my body or my health, this kind of stuff. And then I woke up one morning and I was feeling super hungover. I looked in the mirror and I was like, damn, I want to change something. I want to try something new out. And I just so happened to listen to this podcast from Joe Rogan and a guest, John Joseph. He's this vegan triathlete guy.
So Joe Rogan made you vegan?
No, his guest. But he provided the platform.
Thanks, Joe.
But yeah, John Joseph, he's like this vegan triathlete guy, and he's the super badass, like really spiritual guy. And he talked about plant-based diets and veganism in a way that was very relatable to me. And it was the first time that I heard the message from somebody like that connected with me. And I was like, damn, okay, I'll try out a plant-based diet for who knows how long and just see how it goes. And I also had friends that were vegan, so I knew that it was possible to live on a plant-based diet and get all my nutrients and this kind of stuff. And so I was plant-based for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I was feeling fantastic. I started losing weight, and I was going to the gym and working out, enjoying my meals, all this kind of stuff. And then around that time, a report from the United Nations got released about the environmental impacts of animal agriculture and basically the state of the climate. And I was like, oh, damn, okay, this was a good decision. This is the direction that the world needs to head. And then I kind of stumbled upon a few pieces of content about the ethics of veganism and why people would want to adopt a vegan diet and avoid all animal products, including the leather and down, all this kind of stuff. And it really connected to me. And it just really aligned with kind of the life that I wanted to live and the person that I wanted to be. And I had actually watched Earthlings before when I was like 18 or 19. And
it didn't cut it for you then?
It was disgusting, and I was like completely horrified by it. But then I went off and I was like, I need to eat animal products. I need iron, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, and then when I started kind of rediscovering this issue, it like connected with me super deep, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then from then on, it's been purely an ethical kind of decision to...
You've really turned it around then in 2 years. I mean,
big time.
Considering going plant-based from a podcast, from a health perspective, to going pretty much full-on activist now. I mean, that's...
Big time, yeah.
The amount of outreach videos and the content that you're putting out today is incredible.
Yeah.
And you touched on one thing, which was the alcohol.
Yeah.
Because you quit drinking.
Yes, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I feel amazing about that.
Yeah.
Like... It's kind of weird because I feel like now that I've stepped away from like drinking and partying and this kind of stuff, it's like another thing I can see where it's so like socially kind of dictated that we should be drinking for
absolutely.
All occasions, that alcohol should be involved in all functions and all events, and it's the way that people...
Yeah, sure, you've got to have a drink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that part of it is very interesting, and I feel really good for like stepping kind of away from that and just having some time to kind of process that and look at it from an outside perspective. And I spent so many years of my life drinking, getting fucked up, smoking a lot of weed, doing drugs, all this kind of stuff, that now to have a break from it, it's like, it feels so nice, man. It feels like it's kind of a different headspace that you enter into, and it's given me so much more focus and clarity and confidence in myself, because I realized that, like, I looked back on my past behaviors and all this kind of stuff, and I realized that I was doing a lot of stuff not out of an actual like desire to do it, but out of like a place of kind of like feeling maybe insecure or anxious in a social situation. Exactly.
It's just what we do.
But after a while, these things, I feel like they become so toxic, and people never end up dealing with that issue, and they just keep on in that cycle. So yeah, I feel super good about the decision.
And you've inspired me today to buy some 0% alcohol beer. Anyone that knows me would be really surprised. But I was thinking about this earlier. I mean, clearly it doesn't taste the same as beer.
Yeah.
But I find it's kind of similar as when you compare like a plant-based burger to a meat burger.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. But if you appreciate it in a different way, and you change the perspective, you can enjoy it. This is not actually that bad.
Exactly. Like it gives you the benefits of like drinking a beverage, having the taste. You could have it at a party or something, and it's like the same kind of feeling. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good analogy.
Because you posted something recently. It's been 6 months since you stopped drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's impressive, because I mean, it's something that's been going through my mind a lot.
Yeah.
Because like you say, the social aspect of veganism, the social aspect of drinking, of eating meat. Mm-hmm. I think that is the main reason why people are afraid of this change.
For sure.
And I did a month without alcohol in July.
Oh, true, yeah.
And I genuinely enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I genuinely felt so good.
Yeah.
So much more focused, so much more energy. Yeah. And even when I had that glass of wine and that beer right after, I didn't actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
I literally forced it down myself.
Yeah.
And I've kind of broken that habit again. Okay, it's so strange.
Interesting, eh? And it's like such a test of willpower as well, which is like such a great way to build self-esteem and self-confidence too. Like I remember I was at my girlfriend's work function and it was like free drinks like all night long. Everyone's just drinking, getting completely fucked.
I'd get annihilated.
Exactly. And I would have too, like 3 or 4 years ago. I would have been like, yo, open bar? Like, are you kidding me? Let's go. And the CEO was on stage like, nobody leaves here sober. Like, I was like, damn, there's so much pressure to get fucked up right now.
Did you pretend you were drunk or?
No. I was just like, sparkling water, please. People were like, oh. But they didn't care too much. But like, and this was maybe 3 months into me like saying, okay, I'm going to take a break from drinking and stuff. And yeah, it was just so interesting. And I had a fantastic night, had great conversations with people, had an awesome time. And I was like, damn, I didn't even like feel the need to like use alcohol as like a social lubricant to have good conversations and meet new people, which is something that I recognize that I relied on a lot back in the day. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is normally a conversation that I'd have with someone who's probably about 40, 45.
Yeah,
you're 26-year-old. You're in that peak age of when people are still getting like really wasted on a daily basis. Yeah. So do you still find yourself relatable as a vegan male that doesn't drink?
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm still exactly the same person that I used to be. I've always been interested in like trying new things and like kind of being on the kind of like self-development path and kind of breaking social norms and just experimenting with new things to do. So yeah, like I could still go to any party and still have a good time with somebody. I could still go to some dude's house that ate steak and every meal and still have a great time with them. Like
they don't dread hanging out with you.
No, of course not.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good, because I was dreading it.
No, of course not, man. Of course not.
Okay, so how did you get into activism then? From going vegan onwards to becoming active, because that's a huge step.
Big time.
There's a lot of vegans out there that aren't active.
Yeah. I basically, the content that I came across on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, all this kind of stuff, I just thought it was so interesting. And I've always kind of been interested in like ideas and discussions, debates, challenging conversations. And so when I looked at, I found Earthling Ed's YouTube and James Aspey, Joey Carbstrong, all these people. And I just became obsessed with like the kind of ethical arguments behind veganism. And I found them so strong and so interesting. And I went down this rabbit hole where I just that's all I was reading, all I was listening to for like maybe a month and a half or something. And then I was like, damn, okay, maybe I'll just go and try it and see what it's like. And I went to my first Cube of Truth and like I was there, I was like, I saw the group there and I was like, damn, is this weird? Should I not do this? Maybe I should just go back home. But then like the organizer of the Berlin Cube kind of turned around and like made eye contact with me. And now he's one of my good friends, Valentin. And I was just like, fuck it, let's try it. Yeah. And it was like it was so interesting to talk to people about veganism on the streets. And I found that people were so open-minded, and it's just like a really nice feeling to have a positive conversation, because of course when I first made the change and started thinking about animals, I was like super like intense about it and going on rants on my Facebook page and talking to my family, all this kind of stuff, all these kind of things that happen when you go vegan. I was like experiencing the kind of negative sides of that, just probably because I wasn't communicating tactfully enough.
Yeah,
in
it's all
hindsight.
about how you say it as well, isn't it? I can really relate to your first experience of activism because the first time I did Cube of Truth was the week of truth in New York.
Damn, okay.
So it's like 7 days of it. It's full on, and there's
Yeah.
lots of activists that I admire that I was following on social media for a while that I'd learned a lot from. And
Yeah.
there was Hudson Talo was there, great guy. And there was Ryuji as well, Peace by Vegan.
Yep.
Thomas Chung as well.
Okay,
There's like just so many of these people that I'd seen on Instagram or Facebook that I'd never actually met, and they're all there. I'm like, holy shit! It's almost like going to a festival.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I mean, in a different way.
Yeah.
And you do get there, and you're like, should I really be here? Do I fit into this?
Yeah, definitely.
Is this what I really wanted to be? And you always expect people to be so defensive.
Definitely.
But once you start talking, most people are very receptive.
For sure, man. I think it's so important just to be relatable to people, eh? Like when you have a conversation with somebody, just be like, oh, how's it going? Like, what have you been up to today? Are you here for a holiday? You live here? What's going on? Like build a positive kind of rapport with somebody, make them see that you're not some like kind of extreme person or like wanting for you to sign up to something or buy something.
Just write your name here, please. Yeah.
Exactly. Because nobody enjoys dealing with those people. So once you kind of have that established and you communicate in like a respectful way, asking interesting questions, get them thinking about it.
So you weren't going like, hey, how are you going? Murderer!
Not straight away.
Not straight up. Keep that for later on.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But where you've been the most effective and where a lot of people are agreeing that is most effective, obviously street activism I think is great. It's the rawest form of it. Mm-hmm. It's necessary.
Yeah.
But you're never going to have the outreach that you can have with 2 thumbs on your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where you've grown incredibly over the past year especially.
Yeah.
You've literally blown up on Instagram.
Yeah.
And how have you done it?
Basically, I created the Recovering Carnist account, I think it was about 10 or 11 months ago, and I just used it as an outlet to things that I was thinking about or ideas that I had and wanted to express. I have a background in journalism, marketing, communications, and so like I love to create content and write and think about deep issues as well. So it just seemed like the perfect combination of things to do. And so I created the account and I was just kind of posting kind of fairly consistently, but just kind of more random stuff. And then I decided to, like, I built a little bit of momentum, and then I was like, okay, I want to start taking it seriously. And I looked at what other people were doing. I looked at people like Gary Vee, all these kind of like digital marketing guys. And I was like, okay, I could actually apply my professional skill set to this issue that I'm so passionate about, and use social media as a platform to talk about it. And so I started taking it fairly seriously, and I don't know, man, I just got hooked on it because social media, you can see things have a tangible impact. Like people will reach out and message me and be like, I saw this post and I never considered this, or I never knew this happened. So thank you. You really made me think. Yeah. And that's like, damn, okay. Wow. You never know the impact that could have.
Yeah, Gary Vee is actually one of the main influences behind the reasons I started this podcast. Yeah. Because if you listen to his podcast, it's like, start a podcast. That's his answer to about 90% of the questions people ask him.
Exactly, man.
So I was like, I can apply this. I can use this.
Yeah.
So what have you taken from his content and applied it into animal rights?
Oh, so much, man. I think he's brilliant about giving people the motivation to create content or start a project or do something that they've always wanted to do. Like authenticity, just putting yourself out there and seeing what happens and not being scared to be perfect. Yeah. Good is better than perfect in a lot of situations, and the idea that, one day I'm going to feel comfortable enough to do this, or one day I want to start a podcast, or one day I want to start a YouTube channel. There's never going to be a time where you feel comfortable enough to do it. So the best way too is just to throw yourself in there and just see what happens, adapt. And I've taken so much from what he talks about. Yeah. Big time.
I mean, a few people have asked me recently, how should I start a podcast? Yeah. How should I start a YouTube channel? Like,
just do it.
If you're looking at my YouTube channel, you're looking at the wrong place because it's not that successful. But that's what I say. I say, just do it. It'll never be perfect, and the only way you're going to improve is by putting that content out there.
Exactly,
and
man.
Don't expect it to be perfect.
Exactly.
Because it never will be.
Also, one huge thing about Gary Vee is how he teaches people not to be scared of judgment and don't let the fear of what other people think stop you from doing something that you want to do. And I think like so many people that are vegan can relate to that because they're so scared to make a post because of what people might think about them, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you always refer to the judgment from other people and then the vegan community as well. Like, is it vegan enough, or is it too vegan?
Yeah, exactly. But what I found is that if you're just authentic and you just give your thoughts, be yourself, have good intentions, people are going to relate to it. No matter what it is that you're talking about. Could be veganism, could be anything.
I mean, I find Gary Vee should be vegan, really. With the stuff that he says.
Yeah.
Just the context.
For sure.
Like he says
Compassion,
all about love
gratitude,
and legacy and future and playing the long game, you know?
Exactly.
I find it relates so well to veganism.
Definitely, man. Yeah. 100%.
I keep harassing him to do the intro of his podcast. He hasn't gone back to me yet. Maybe you'll hear this one, Gary. I want to do your intro.
Let's go.
And you've recently collaborated with Jake, the cheesy vegan. I did an episode with a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And Hudson and Tyler.
Yeah.
So who brought you three guys together?
Jake did.
Yeah.
He just said, I'm pretty sure he just DM'd us and was like, oh no, I was just talking to him in the DMs and he said, do you want to collab on a video? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And then he was like, oh, maybe we should get somebody else to do it. And then, okay, let's try and get Hudson. Because I feel like we're all kind of similar on our, like, we want to create content. We want to help spread the vegan message through these platforms.
And all three of you doing it in quite a humorous way as well.
For sure.
And the way that you're bringing humor in on your separate channels.
Yeah.
And why do you think humor's so effective?
Because it presents a message in a far less confrontational way. You know, if people hear something funny and hard-hitting at the same time, they're way more likely to take it on board than if it's something that's just like hard-hitting that maybe they can't relate to. It's such a good vehicle for connecting people to an idea or a thought. And it also helps to break the stereotype that vegans are like these serious, kind of angry, militant, dogmatic, like unrelatable people. Like, fuck, we're all just normal people that just don't despise what's happening to animals and the planet, you know? Yeah. So I think it's super powerful to like break those stereotypes as well, which I think like making funny videos like that can maybe help do.
Yeah. I mean, I get a bit of shit for making fun of vegans.
Okay.
Because I find vegans very entertaining.
Definitely.
We are quite curious.
Yeah,
for sure, there's a lot of different types of vegans as
Definitely.
Well. And people say you shouldn't be mocking them, but I think if we disarm ourselves with humor, then people have nothing to throw at us.
Of course. Yeah.
If we can, like you say, show that we're relatable, that we can have fun
definitely
in so many different ways without exploiting animals, then why not?
Of course, you have to be able to laugh at yourself no matter who you are. And if you're not able to do that, then people are just going to have a negative perception of you.
Do people say, oh, you look vegan? Or are they surprised when you tell them you're vegan?
Yeah. Sometimes they are. I guess because I'm just, like, for the most part, a fairly regular guy. Maybe not the stereotypical person that they would associate with being a vegan. So,
For those of you who don't know, he's actually super tall in real life.
Yeah, like 6'6", 6'7".
You can't tell that on Instagram. We're like looking down at people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing. They're like, oh, damn, okay, he's big. Like, he plays basketball, goes to the gym, and he's vegan. Oh, okay, interesting.
It is possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Did you watch Game Changers?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
No, me neither.
No, damn.
I keep asking people, and everyone's like, no. Has anyone seen this documentary?
Hey, I've heard some really good things about it.
Yeah, I've heard it's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to organize a screening in Dubai, and it's still not happening. Okay. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people want to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it is amazing, like you say. It's all about if we can break that stereotype through sport, through especially high-performing athletes nowadays. There are so many that
so important.
Consume animal products.
Is it? It's not out in cinemas like full time, is it?
No, they just did I don't know why it's not everywhere. I mean, they did the premieres. I think it was on Monday the 16th or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it's actually going to go mainstream.
Yeah, and it's going to iTunes. It's like Netflix or. Come on.
Yeah, get
it to a major platform.
Give it something we can pimp off our parents.
Exactly.
Use their accounts for.
For sure. Come on, man. Come on, James Cameron.
Yeah. We think they want everyone to see it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think about, because there's a big debate at the moment about the mock meats, about McDonald's, about Burger King, about them getting into the Beyond Meats Impossible Burgers. Yeah. What do you think about that? Because that divides the movement.
Yeah. It's such an interesting talking point. I can see the merits of both arguments, and I can completely understand why so many people say that they don't want to support places like McDonald's or Burger King. But my question is, when I'm thinking about this, is if we envision a vegan world, do fast food outlets still exist? And I would say yes. The easiest way to achieve a vegan world is, in my opinion, would be to veganize these fast food places, right? But then there seems to be a sentiment from the people that are against that there's kind of some insidious motives behind McDonald's, KFC, Burger King selling animals, and there's like some kind of invested interests to get them to continue selling these products. But from a supply and demand perspective, I don't agree. You know, if there's money to be made off vegan products, and if there's enough vegan people willing to buy vegan products, then of course they will introduce more vegan options. You know, in my head, that's what makes more sense. So yeah, and I was actually listening to, do you know the Cosmic Skeptic?
The Cosmic? No, I don't.
Okay,
I'll put a link to that down below.
Yeah, he hosts like a philosophy YouTube channel, and he's vegan recently, and he's had Earthling Ed and Peter Singer on his podcast. He's got a really big platform, and he was.
I'm gonna burn it down. I need to take over.
He's a really he's a super intelligent kind of guy.
Oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah, sorry, mate. No, but he was talking about this, and he was saying because places like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC are so bad, we should be incentivizing them to change the most. You know, we should have an imperative to make them change their business the most because they're so bad. You know, it should be our duty to make them vegan, you know, because what happens if they come out with vegan options and they don't sell? They're going to take them off the menu.
But that's the thing. That's where is it going to come from the consumer, or is it going to come from the offer? You know, it's the supply and demand. Does it come from the supply first, or does it come from the demand first?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people argument that no, it has to come from the law, it has to come from legislation, and making all these bans. But if the consumer changes, they'll follow the money.
There's no incentive for big companies to keep producing products that nobody buys. Ever. There's never going to be a situation like that. So if people become vegan and order more plant-based options, then I can see them phasing out animal products in the future. And yeah, I think these things are not just from like the animal and supply and demand perspectives. I think that they're a positive because they destigmatize veganism. They make it more accessible to people. They make it more normal to be vegan. I think it's so huge, the power of that, you know, like veganism is no longer some kind of unknown thing, some weird kind of, don't know what that's about. It's in McDonald's, it's in Burger King, it's in KFC. I think the power of that is really massive, and I can't foresee a world that doesn't have large fast food outlets. Yeah. So in my mind, the easiest way to stop animal exploitation is to just completely veganize the supply chain, and then these existing bodies just veganize their offerings. Of course, it may not be ideal like for the environment to be mass producing plant-based foods, but it's a hell of a lot better, and it's far more realistic. I don't want to be in a world
that doesn't have fast food, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like, I'm of no interest in that world.
Yeah, for sure. It's good. Yeah, you know, you can go to McDonald's and get
as long as it's vegan fast food, obviously.
Yeah, and yeah, I haven't actually tried. Like they did release a big vegan burger in McDonald's, and I did buy that, and it was shit.
Yeah, I had that.
But at the time, I was still like excited about it. I was like, damn, vegan burger at McDonald's, yeah. But yeah, these issues are so interesting because I can definitely understand why people don't want to support McDonald's and Burger King. Yeah, you know, for various reasons.
I mean, there are a lot of non-vegans that don't want to support McDonald's and Burger King just from a health perspective.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because of what it does. I mean, I can't believe still I'm going to wait for this ambulance to go by. Maybe they're coming to pick up someone from McDonald's who had a heart attack or something.
Probably, man. This shit happens like every hour in Berlin. Yeah. There's some emergency.
So anyway, beyond that, the fact that McDonald's, Burger King, they're putting these things on their menu, beyond the taste of it, I think it's just great marketing for veganism.
Definitely.
It opens that door, opens that conversation.
Definitely. And McDonald's called their burger in Germany, they called it the Big Vegan. It's free advertising for the idea behind veganism. So yeah, it's a tough issue though. Like I'm still kind of figuring out what I think about it, but in my mind, it makes more sense to support these places and to encourage non-vegans and spread the word about it.
Because, I think it's great transitional. It's like bridging.
Exactly.
People,
Exactly.
I think as vegans, we shouldn't need or desire or necessarily consume those products.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Even though I do.
Yeah.
But it's all about theory. I'm great at telling people what to do and then not applying it. But then for people who aren't vegan, I think it's a great way for them to like get a foot in the door and start discovering and then start doing the research.
Definitely.
About things, you know?
And if they have a positive experience from the burger, then you never know. They might look up plant-based diets.
And you never know how far it's going to go as well. I mean, look at you. I mean, look at your story. You started just with a hangover listening to a podcast and now you do animal rights activism, you know?
Exactly.
So once you get that ball rolling.
Exactly, man.
So take us through a little bit of your street activism. Like, what's your go-to then? How do you like rock up on people?
Here in Berlin, the first question is always like, "Oh, do you speak English?" Which sucks, you know, because sometimes they say no, and I have to say, okay, choose or goodbye.
Come back when you do.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just basically approach them and just try and be as friendly, positive as possible. I always try and have like the best body language because I feel like that is a huge part of communicating with people that sometimes...
Especially when you're coming at them from 6'6".
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So big smile on my face, try and get straight back, hands out the front. I think these things are actually so important with when we participate in street activism and this kind of stuff. And it might be an overlooked part of the kind of formula to have a successful conversation. So that's the first thing that I kind of try and do. And I just ask questions, be nice, laugh, joke around, even though it's like such a serious issue that we're talking about. If you are, from my experience, if you approach it from that kind of like more serious, more aggressive way, then people get turned off and they're like, okay, gotta go now. But if you're just a regular nice person, asking sincere questions, I think it goes a long way to leaving a good impression on the person that you're talking to. But yeah, asking lots of questions and never putting too much pressure on them as an individual. Never asking like, personally, I never go like, do you still eat animal products, or do you still eat meat? Do you still eat cheese? I'm like, why do you think we do this? You know, we're in this together kind of thing. That's my approach. But yeah, I'm just being myself a lot of the time as well, like just having genuine conversations with people. I feel, sometimes people may feel pressure to talk a certain way or to act a certain way or to have a specific attitude when it comes to talking about this issue.
Yeah, I mean, you do see there's like maybe 4, 5, 6 activists out there where you see all the videos going around.
Yeah.
So everyone tends to model it on how they're doing it and their approach.
Which is what I started doing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And a lot of them are amazing the way they do it. But I don't know if that is effective for everyone, you know, because it's not genuine.
Definitely not.
If it's not coming from your heart, it's not necessarily your approach.
For sure. And for the most part, I'm a super like relaxed, laid back, passive, kind of like sensitive dude. So I'm not going to be out there like this is bullshit. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's just not in my nature, you know. And some people it might be, and if that works for you in an authentic way, then go for it. But it's just not the kind of person that I am. So I just try and be genuine, authentic, and just positive.
And what do you expect from the conversation that you have with someone?
Just for them to maybe think about the issue, take it seriously, question themselves the next time that they're in the supermarket. I think we feel a lot of pressure to make people go vegan on the spot or have this deep breakthrough in front of you, and if you don't achieve that,
the kind of hallelujah moment where you got the hand on the forehead and they're all like, It never works like that, does it?
Exactly. Sometimes I've actually had a few experiences where something like that does happen and people are like, whoa, man, like my life has changed kind of thing. And that's like, wow, it's incredible. But it very, very rarely happens. Yeah. And we have we feel a lot of pressure to have this amazing conversation or to make somebody have a breakthrough, and it just doesn't happen very often. So I think success is them taking the issue seriously and thinking about it in a very like deep reflective way. And I think you can tell when somebody is having that reaction, and I think that's a great conversation. Yeah,
I mean, we do have way too high expectations of ourselves, and
definitely
when we're trying to do these things, and I think that is what's stopping a lot of people who maybe are even listening to this, who see your platform, see what we've done within such amount of time, and like, well, I could never do that, you know, I could never start creating this content, start putting it out there. And what would you say to all these people apart from just do it, you know, like where would you say start from?
Just try.
And
don't, like, if this is something that you want to do, if you want to get involved in creating content and you're passionate about this issue, then there's nothing better to do than just do it. And when I first started making content, I actually blocked like my entire friends group from back in New Zealand on this new Recovering Carnist account, because I knew in the past I've been involved with projects or stuff that I wanted to do, and I was always so hung up on people's opinions. And I would just be like, oh man, I wonder what this person would think about it, you know? But it would always hinder me so much, so that when I started creating content on Recovering Carnist, I was like, okay, I'm just going to block this group of friends and just create without fear of their judgment.
Well, you already had that fear by blocking them.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But like, it removed it for you.
It removed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't an obstacle anymore for me just to go hard and just do what I wanted to do. And now I've got them all unblocked, and more people are starting to see it. And instead of them being like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? They're like, yo, this is so cool, man. I'm like cutting out animal products. Yeah. A few of my good friends from back home have said that to me, and it's like, damn, okay.
I mean, for me, just that makes it all worthwhile, you know?
Definitely.
It's when you touch the people that are close to you.
Exactly.
It matters so much more than the numbers, you know? Like,
exactly.
You hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. That's an important number when it comes to followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I feel if you focus just on that, first of all, you won't get there.
Yeah,
because you won't have the time, you won't put the energy into it.
Definitely
Whereas
not.
if you focus on the impact that you're having to the people around you, that's what's empowering. And if you don't focus on numbers, you've already won.
That's true. I would say that sometimes not focusing on the people around you is helpful as well, because the people that you know for the longest time are going to be the least receptive to it sometimes. Like, a lot of people have problems with their family and their close friends when they go vegan, and they're like, it's like they're banging their head against the wall. They can't get through to them. So my advice is don't, like, just maybe pull back and don't try and get them to watch Dominion every time you see them, you know, because I get the need to do that, but from my experience, just being a good example of you can be healthy.
Just walk around. That's like, have you seen Dominion?
Yeah.
You know? Every single time you see someone.
Exactly. And it's tempting to do that shit, man. It's tempting, but it's just not effective. So, like, that's what I tried to do. I was like, okay, forget about these people. I'm going to focus on the rest of the world, because there's so many people out there that will be open to a message.
Absolutely.
And that will be receptive.
Yeah. And I feel the key word is open, because we do, especially at the beginning, we tend to waste so much time on the haters.
Definitely.
And someone told me something very, very important, and I can't remember who it was actually. If you remember who told me this, do message me, and I'll kind of insert your voice over this part. And they told me basically, don't waste your time on the trolls.
Definitely.
Obviously, occasionally it's good to get into that conversation a little bit, but if you see it's going nowhere, just move on, because it's so time consuming and it's such a waste of energy and time.
When I first started taking Instagram seriously, I can't tell you how long I wasted talking to trolls, arguing with people. And it gets so frustrating, because it's just not a natural way to communicate with somebody over a comment section in Instagram. It's just, if they are so far removed from ever going vegan, then don't give them the time of day, unless you want to do a funny response, screenshot it, and use it as content.
Exactly, you can use it as good content. Yeah.
Exactly, but oh man, I've wasted so much time and so much energy getting in debates with these people, getting angry, getting worked up about it, when it's just, ultimately it's meaningless.
And it puts you off as well, doesn't it?
Definitely, and like, I've been getting more and more people like that, and if I see the same person coming back to my page all the time, I just block them. Because fuck it.
That easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can.
Exactly. But then the other week, I had this anti-vegan Instagram page take all these photos of me and like edit them, put them on their stories, take like some of the quotes that I do, the tweet screenshots, and just like write over them and like zoom in on my face and be like, yo, like this guy's eyes are always closed, like he has a receding hairline, like all this kind of shit, man.
That's because you're vegan, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I was like, wow, like it was weird.
How
that's
sad
the first
can
time
their lives be?
I know, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, this person is so sad that they literally have nothing better to do in their day-to-day life than do this kind of stuff.
Especially
and I just block
someone
them.
who's genuinely trying to do something good as well. It's not like if they do that to
I'm not
Donald
trying to be a
Trump,
model or some
I'd be
shit.
like, fair enough, I'll support you. It's funny.
Exactly, man. But yeah, and I just blocked them, and I was like, okay, let's just move on. It's just the nature of the game. Like this shit is going to happen.
I mean, we're such a minority anyway. I mean,
Exactly.
95% of the population doesn't really like us anyway. So
Exactly.
you're going to get a lot of hate.
Exactly, for
So
sure.
what was your very first post on Recovering Carnist? Do you remember?
Oh, man. I have no idea. I really don't.
Really?
No, I have no idea. I think I would have gone and deleted it now, or just like archived it. But
Do you like go back and delete them?
I delete like the really old stuff.
Okay.
Like I basically removed everything before I started like taking it seriously. I first started it. It might have been just like a photo of a smoothie or something, or like or like a salad bowl.
You could have been a food blogger.
blogger.
You could have been so different.
Could have been, man. Yeah.
You could have had a YouTube channel making kale and spinach smoothies.
Maybe, yeah. Could have been. I think that was probably the first one, and then it was just like generic photos of like animals and the planet and this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Because I find at the beginning everyone tends to, and I did the same thing as well. You tend to use everyone else's content.
That's what I was doing.
You share the pictures and stuff with the facts, and everyone's Instagram kind of looks the same.
Definitely.
But it's only when you start putting your original stuff.
Definitely.
When it comes from you.
Yeah.
It's only then that it even starts really growing and people start taking interest. Because I always tell people, like, put yourself out there, put your face to it. People like that.
Definitely, man. That's such a great point. That's a point that I was going to make too. The moment that I started making my own stuff is when it started like going off, and people started connecting to it way more, because it just brings like a level of authenticity as well. They're like, oh man, okay, there's this person this is what he's talking about, this is what he thinks, I can relate to this guy. And like making your own stuff is so important. I think the first, like when I decided to start taking Instagram seriously, I saw the style going around where you tweet, you take a screenshot, and then you put it on Instagram.
Yeah, it's good.
That was the first one that I was like, put it up, and then it started like got like 300, 400 likes or something, and I was like, oh, okay, this format works, because
it does really work
because
actually,
people like sharing it.
Not
And then
many people
that's
on
what
Twitter, though.
I know,
I think people share it more Instagram than they share it on Twitter,
which is strange. I think just because it looks nice, like it looks clean, and it's something that people can just hit the share to the story button, and they're like, okay, I agree with this on the story. That way all of their followers see it.
Because what other platforms are you on? I mean, I saw you got a YouTube channel.
YouTube, and I had a Facebook page, but I deleted it just because it was like named incorrectly. So I don't have Facebook, but I will make a new one. And Twitter and TikTok, but I don't really use TikTok.
Yeah, I'm struggling with TikTok, to be honest.
Me too.
I was keen at the beginning. I was like,
I know, me too. I started with so much motivation. Now it's like, I don't know.
I just like the effects on it. Like
the
bubble effect.
The big head one is super funny. TikTok will be something in the future for sure, but I still got to get my head around it. But I feel like Instagram is the most worthwhile.
Right now. I mean, it's the basis of everything.
Definitely,
yeah. But the only problem I have with Instagram, and ultimately I prefer Facebook, even though I don't use it very well.
Really?
Yeah, because you can, and it's actually John Oberg who told me this. I think he's the one who also told me don't waste your time with the trolls. So thank you, John. Yeah. Put a link to John as well down below. And he told me like Facebook's really powerful because you can share so easily, and you're sharing not just within your own like micro world of followers. Yeah. People can share that outside of it as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you can reshare it. So it gets a lot more impressions than it would do on Instagram.
That's true. I feel like I don't look at Facebook as I know it's an important platform, but it's something that I haven't really focused on because I feel like the demographic of Facebook users is becoming older and older.
Definitely.
And like it's trending old, and whereas Instagram is where the kids of the future are and spending their time, even more so on TikTok. But Instagram right now I feel like is the perfect platform for like people our age to be using. And that's the people that are going to be most open to hearing a vegan message.
But the problem I have with Instagram, like I said, is that how do you reach non-vegans on Instagram?
I think it's through creating content that other vegan people can share. Yeah. Somebody that isn't creating their own content and just like a regular person can share it to their story, or can take what you have and share it on their...
Because it's unlikely that a non-vegan is going to be following like #vegan as fuck, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like there's a lot of power in creating content for vegans for them to share. Yeah. You know, it's like creating like a different kind of distribution network in its own way, you know?
Yeah, to help empower other people. And
exactly. Yeah. And that's ultimately how it will get in front of non-vegan eyes. But I don't know, every post of mine attracts non-vegans somehow.
Really?
Yeah. Like whether they're trolls or people that are just like interested or saying like, yeah, this is sad, but like I was sick one time and now I need to eat meat, this kind of stuff. And so if a post does well, then Instagram picks it up and boosts it on Explore page, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, like heaps of non-vegan people can see vegan content. But yeah, you raise a good point, and kind of breaking the vegan echo chamber with content sometimes.
Because it's true, when I look at my Instagram, I kind of feel like everyone's vegan. You know, like the whole world's vegan. When I open, because that's my only source of news. Like, I don't watch the news. I don't read newspapers. Yeah. It all goes through there. So I'm like, oh, well, 95% of the world's vegan already. Then.
You step outside and you're like, oh, damn, that's right.
Yeah, and I sent you this thing earlier of that baby like chewing on a piece of lamb, and the baby was like 7 months old.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, that's so cute." I'm like, "That's the weirdest thing I've
That's
seen
gnarly.
in 2019."
Totally, man. Yeah. Yeah. And I just started a new job, and I was like making my coffee, and I was like, oh man, people still drink cow's breast milk. What the fuck is up with this? Like, I've just been in such a vegan bubble that it's like, damn, you forget that the majority of people aren't living this lifestyle.
Yeah. So how do we break out of that bubble? How do we connect, relate to these people?
Yeah.
Because I mean, how many must think these two guys are crazy? You know, sitting in like a hotel room talking about veganism. You know, like, can't they just like go out on a Friday night like other people and just get absolutely wasted?
Yeah.
Instead of drinking alcohol-free beer.
Sorry, bro.
Still not quite a piece of that. But loving the intentions behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about identifying how we can connect with people that aren't vegan. You know, people care about their health. People care about animals. People care about the environment. People care about living a mindful life.
Yeah.
So I think it's about identifying all of the different ways that like veganism or a vegan lifestyle can like connect with people that are ordinary people. Because like we could quite easily be at a bar, me and you, like living a regular mid-20s dude lifestyle, you know, and we're still regular people. So I feel like there's a huge power in that. And like not being too much of the stereotype as well helps. Even though if you're a yogi, hippie, raw, vegan, whatever, blah, 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 and that's who you are, then it's fucking awesome. And I'm probably more like that than more normal business person. Yeah. But like, I think there's huge power just to continuing to live normal lives, live regular lives, but just be interested in this issue because the issue is worthwhile for everybody.
I do think it's very interesting. It's all about how you brand it, isn't it? Because I used to say, I have a podcast about veganism.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh God, here we go.
Exactly.
You know, like, I don't want to even listen to that.
Yeah.
But now I tell people, oh, I have a podcast. It's about animal rights and environmentalism.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, that's so cute.
Interesting.
You're such a nice guy.
Funny, huh?
Yeah. Whereas ultimately, it's exactly the same thing.
Definitely. And it's like such an interesting discussion, like whether we continue using the vegan label when we talk about ourselves or when we talk about the movement to end animal exploitation. Is the word vegan too tarnished to continue using? I don't know.
It is a tough one because I feel like no one really relates to it. A lot of people don't like to be labelled as vegan, especially athletes.
Understandably.
Even Novak Djokovic, he says he doesn't like to be called vegan, even though he opened a plant-based restaurant, I think, in Monaco.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can understand why. Because
I can understand why. Yeah. Like when I first made the change, I was like, I don't know, am I vegan? A bit cringe kind of thing. But like over time, I just adopted it because it is what it is. But I think, I don't know if it's always effective to use the word vegan when you're talking to people that aren't. You say, I love a plant-based diet, or I'm very concerned with animals, or I want to help animals, want to help the planet.
How do you define veganism?
Veganism, it's just a lifestyle that seeks to practicably avoid causing animal suffering as much as possible, or live in a way that seeks to avoid animal suffering as much as practicably possible. I think that's like around the official definition from like the vegan society. But it's just not participating in anything that is going to intentionally, directly hurt animals. Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people do struggle to get that point when it comes to animals. But I find veganism applies so much to humanity as well.
Yeah.
Because people say we don't care about humans.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is not true.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Because if one of the main reasons I believe that I'm vegan as well is because if everyone was to shift in this mindset to become more compassionate towards living beings, they'd be more compassionate towards each other as well.
Definitely.
Because I honestly believe if you raise a child, plant-based, let's say, to keep that neutral, you're not going to teach them that discrimination from a really young age between this is a dog, love it, that's a cow, stab it in the throat, and completely normalize its torture, because it's the basis of discrimination. And the sooner you teach them discrimination, they're going to grow up with it forever. Yeah,
for sure. That's an interesting one because I see a growing movement of people within the vegan community that are the intersectionalist movement, where it's like it's not just about animals, it's about racism, it's about sexism, it's about feminism, it's about trans rights, all of these different things, and how they apply to veganism. And like for sure I kind of agree with that, because it's like if you have an anti-oppression kind of philosophy about one sector of life, then it's logically consistent to have it across the spectrum, right? For humans as well as animals.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't agree with everything that the intersectionalist people are saying about some issues. So it's another like interesting discussion point that I see happening at the moment.
But how would we unite these causes? Because ultimately what we want is we want to make the world a better place.
Yeah, for sure.
In a nutshell. Sounds very cliche.
No, it
sounds impossible, but it's very easy.
Definitely.
You can do it on a daily basis.
Definitely.
Starting small.
Yeah.
But how do we get all these movements that are all very passionate to work in the same direction?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think if we find that out, it would be
we could start really
be a huge key to bringing unity and division, ending division. Yeah, I really don't know, man. I think it's about like, should we wait for them to go past?
I don't know who's been fighting it. Maybe it's the environmentalists and animal rights. They've been at it.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
I think it's about just recognizing what we all have in common. And even though maybe we don't agree about the methods to reach the end goal, but realizing that we're on the same team, we want the same thing. So let's not demonize others. Let's not try and silence or deplatform people that perhaps you don't agree with about the strategy to achieve the end goal. I think it's completely counterintuitive. Like I totally respect the kind of like intersectionalist philosophy and about being consistently anti-oppression, this kind of stuff. But then they also spend a huge amount of their time just kind of shitting on activists, particularly like white dudes, white male activists, which I can understand why. I can understand that there needs to be a diversity of all kinds of people.
I do honestly feel like, I'm not justifying it, because it's true that you do see the main, most popular activists that get the most television time, they are white males.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do also question, it's not really the media that's choosing that, because the media is not really exposed. It's social media.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's individuals that are relating more to that. I don't know if it's because they are men, or is it just because their content's good? I
think it's like the argument against that is like these white men are in positions of privilege, and therefore they think that they have the right to tell other people how to live their lives, this kind of stuff, which I can see an element of truth in that. But then again, I think it's counterintuitive to shit on people like vegans, let alone activists, just vegan people. They have to deal with so much discrimination, marginalization, and like annoying bullshit from society. Then to be a vegan activist, you have to deal with another level of that. Then these people that dedicate their lives to become vegan activists, they have people on their team like kind of shitting on them and telling them that they're trash, they're garbage, they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. Like, to me, that is just complete insanity, and it's just so counterintuitive. Although they do have some good points, I feel like that part of it is like just crazy.
We need to just empower each other, really, you know,
exactly.
and support everyone what they're doing. Like, not everyone's doing the same thing, and not everyone can do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I always say we're not fighting the same battle, but we're fighting the same war.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And if we can focus on the bigger picture, I think we can really achieve something great.
Definitely. And like with these famous vegan activists, like these are like the average person doesn't relate to veganism, right? And so the most famous vegan activists, they're famous because more people can relate to them. And we so desperately need that. We so desperately need people to be able to relate to this cause, to this message. So whatever is going to bring more people in, the better. So yeah, that's just like some interesting kind of thoughts that I've been kind of like thinking about lately, because I've been seeing a lot of kind of this argument going around.
Yeah, I mean, we're a difficult bunch to please anyway, really.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
For sure. And like there's definitely a section of the vegan community that is insufferable, like for sure. So we need to move away from conducting ourselves in that manner if we want to be relatable.
Do you see a 100% vegan world happening?
Yes. I do believe that it's entirely possible. You look at like radical social changes that have happened in the past, and I can see this becoming, like it already is, one of the biggest like social justice kind of movements at the moment, and I can definitely see a world that doesn't utilize animals for resources and food. How long it would take to get there is another question. I feel like most of our economies are built on the back of exploiting animals, especially where I'm from, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Our biggest export is beef, is sheep, wool, all this kind of stuff, so it's like deeply entrenched in different economies and different societies. So it's gonna be hard to get there, super hard.
And it's all about offering those people a solution as well.
Exactly.
You can't just tell people, farmers that have been farmers for generations, like you're a rapist.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't disagree with the term. I'm not saying it's not rape, but we need to provide solutions. And there are a lot of people out there that are creating solutions, and farms that have done it as well, that have literally made the change themselves.
Definitely, and that's like in regards to like the food aspect as well. Like having plant-based options at McDonald's and Burger King is a step to, provide a solution. Like we can't eat this, but here you can have this. This is an alternative. Yeah, here's another way forward, another way of eating. Yeah. I think that's what it's going to take. We can't, society is set up to be so individualistic, to be so career orientated, to be so focused on ourselves and our own wants, to suddenly want people to have a revolution of consciousness and live their way in a manner that excludes products from different violence and exploitation. I think is a stretch to ask.
Absolutely.
For most people, because it's just not how we've been brought up to think.
And you talk about what society wants, but what do you want?
What do I want from
life?
From life, I just want to be happy, man. To have purpose, to have a goal, to I've always been very an ambitious person and wanting to do something special with my life, And yeah, I just want fulfillment and purpose and happiness, because that's, and to just have peace of mind, I think is definitely
Do you feel like you're doing that now?
Yeah, ever since I've been moving in this direction, I've been increasingly feeling that I'm very aligned with the person that I want to be, and I'm heading in the right direction, and things just have been flowing in regards to growing a following and this kind of stuff, because I feel like I'm just kind of streamlined in the right direction for me. And I also feel just based on my own personal experience and my own kind of life history, whatever, I've realized that material things aren't going to make me happy. And there's so much of life that is just kind of fleeting, temporary emotions, sensations, desires, all of this kind of material level stuff it isn't enough to make me deeply fulfilled and deeply happy. And so I want to have a kind of higher purpose, a deeper goal, something that I feel like I'm making the world a better place in some aspect, that's really important for me, because I recognize that that's the real meaning of things, is to not be of service to yourself and your own wants and desires, but be of service to the wider community, to wider society, to others, to other beings, to animals. I think that's what makes me super happy.
And you're definitely doing it, man. You can see the impact that you are having, and every day, I'm kind of sick of seeing your face now I see your face to face, but every day in so many different people's stories, it's you get here, you through a tweet, your content is really empowering other people as well, and it's really helping them spread that message, and that is what I find is amazing.
That's crazy, man. Well, that's the goal of the content.
And it's great that you've, at a young age, I say young age, you're a year younger than me, I like to bring on the whole Gandalf, Dumbledore vibe to these things. Well, I did an episode with a 17-year-old vegan in China, so I feel really old ever since I recorded that episode.
That's when I look at Hudson Talo, I'm he's 17. Bro, I was not doing that when I was 17.
What am I doing with my life?
Exactly, bro.
10 years, but we all have our journey, don't we? We all have our path.
For sure,
and we're all working towards making the world a better place.
It's amazing that he started so young, but also I don't know, you can do anything at any age, I reckon, especially in the age that we're in now, in the social media digital realm. You could be 50 and start making content about animal rights, and
absolutely,
if it's good, you're going to blow up. It doesn't matter how old you are.
I think even the older you are, the more successful it will be, because people will be wow, this person really did change.
Definitely,
because a lot of people see our generation okay, you're a millennial, and you're vegan, you have to be, it's part of what you are now, But I think it's beautiful when people from all generations, they really make that connection.
Definitely, man.
And they really make a change to the way they live, and then they become activists as well.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome when you see an 80-year-old or a 90-year-old. And like sometimes at Cubes, I've talked to like 85-year-old ladies who are like, yeah, I've been vegan for like 20 years. And it's like, oh my God.
How did you do it? Like,
thank you. Like,
how did you do it with that happy cow?
You're so beautiful. Yeah, exactly. They've been eating the fucking sweet potatoes and lentils and
they're the old school.
Old school, man. Yeah. So much respect for that, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I did an episode a while back with John, mega vegan. He's vegan for 63 years.
63
since the day he was
years?
born, yeah.
Holy shit, man, that's fucking amazing.
And I was like, where did you get information from? You know, like,
yeah.
He's like, books. I'm like, oh.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we don't use
before
that.
the internet.
Yeah. We don't do that anymore in this digital age.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, Marcus, we've been talking for an hour now.
What? Are you serious?
That's the year that they're saying's our last. Unless we make a change now when we gotta be fast. But first we gotta make a shift in what we put in our mouths. See silly billies thinking vegans eating grass on the ground. We talking fast food, yo, it's burgers and fries. And it used to hurt the earth and the birds in the sky. But now they making it with plants and it's so much better. Cause the animals are safe, no more changes in the weather. We better act fast cause the ice barely freezing. The world's changing quick, so welcome to Planet Vegan. Woo! Damn man, can you feel that? This place is getting hot. If we wanna save the world, it'll take some work. If you wanna make it better, then take off your shirt, wave it round your head, and jump into the streets. The revolution starts now. Can you feel its heartbeat? If we wanna save the world, man, we better be quick. Cause we're killing all the piggies and the cows and the chicks. And I gotta be honest, I ain't a fan of our fate. But we can make a change now and it starts on our plates. All around the world, it's a brand new dance. What you're making out of bodies, yeah, we're making out of plants. We gotta save the pigs and the fishes in the sea. So hold on to your pants, Planet Vegan soon to be. There's a change up in the system, I can feel it in the air. But it benefits us all, there's no need to be scared. We're gonna change the world and we'll do it in a day. So don't fight the future, Planet Vegan's here to stay. If we wanna save the world, it'll take some work. If you wanna make it better, then take off your shirt, wave it round your head, and jump into the streets. The revolution starts now. Can you feel its heartbeat? If we wanna save the world, man, we better be quick. Cause we're killing all the piggies and the cows and the chicks. And I gotta be honest, I ain't a fan of our fate. But we can make a change now and it starts on our plates.
Massive forest fires have once again decimated the Californian coastline.
Iceland just held a funeral for the first glacier ever lost in the country's history due to warming weather patterns.
Europe was just hit with the hottest temperatures in recorded history.
Thousands of people are already dying every year from climate change-related issues, and this number is expected to rise exponentially over the coming decades.
Okay, this apocalyptic nightmare's about to be real. Forest fires, oceans flooding, let it fill you with fear. 1 billion refugees running across the borders in pain, and they're drowning while you're saying you're refusing to change. Slaughterhouses filled with bodies and they're letting out screams, but you're saying it's a lie, that it's only a dream. Let me tell you something, man, the nightmare is real, and you're paying for it daily with your supersized meal.